before we dive in, are there any questions, suggestions, or hypotheses or corners we need to round off?
The people alive in the house.
In this room where you guys are? No, they've recently expired, probably just today.
Okay, because I had, like, halfway through the week, I had a sudden thought of, are these people being kept alive the same way that the captured kindred were in the Wonquay's stockrooms?
Oh, no, that's a very old Wonquay secret to keeping the body viable while the soul is being displaced, using it in effect as a refillable sieve to turn the blood from blood to vitae. It's much akin to what, vintners do to create brandy and cognac. They ferment it and age it and strengthen it and distill it so that it is the essence of itself. And that's what the Wonquay were doing to the kindred, using them to distill blood into vitae, increasing what they received from it. And for the record, Hesha, that's mildly disconcerting because I have the OOC discussions open and Terry Crews is juggling his pecs in the background here.
Really sets the mood for vampire horror, doesn't it?
All right. Well, with no missiles returned, if you all are amenable, I believe that the time for me to express how the fact that I traveled over 600 miles to be here with you all, because I appreciate the time that you spend with me so very much. It's gotten to the point where even my wife knows that no matter what's happening on Friday or any other day, that Wednesday is the day, and has begun finding things to do during the start of our sessions. So from the bottom of my heart and the top of her mind, I want to thank you guys for sharing this time with me. You all know that this was my first foray back into the world of tabletop via Discord. And it means so very much to me. In fact, it's one of the highlights of my week, no matter how bad or how great my week at work is going. With that being extended, that being as valid as always, I'd like to say that this is officially Soup City Sins Season 10, Episode 5 of Respect. When we left the coterie last, they were standing in one of the unfortunately more than small few processing centers for the illegal aspects of the blood trade. Not that the blood trade is legal, but there are some places and some providers who, as organically as possible, source their blood for the kindred of the city. And that requires a lot of investment of time, effort, money, social status, having a guy, a girl, and several friends and associates who are able to provide the blood that is a step or more above the medical standard. Because the whole blood, the non-medically treated, the non-separated blood is very much the stuff of dreams and some people's nightmares. Because of the lucre that is able to be gained from the blood trade, many small bands of kindred go out of their way to get their hands on as much as possible because, one, they need it to continue existing, and two, there's a fortune to be made if you make the right connections. Many people dip into the market, though most don't stay around long enough to make a name for themselves because it is jealously guarded. It is jealously policed. It is a crime worthy of not just your life, but the life of everyone you know if you steal from the blood trade. It's one of the reasons why the circulatory system has not settled with as many roots here in the city as elsewhere, because the blood czar of Chicago, the blood czar of Milwaukee are jealously protective over their industry. A place like this is as cruelly sourced as possible. They use jury-rigged pumps to get every last drop of blood from their victims. They take all manner of people, and it really is an act of taking. It's not someone who is near the end of their life. It's not someone who has some incurable disease. It is not someone who knows that the money provided by their blood can help their family. No, these are people stolen from prisons, jails, streets, stores, amusement parks, and they wind up in places like this. Their lives literally being wrung out by the second. And as Melinda, having removed the lid of one cisterns of blood, you realize that other individuals are at play, or people with knowledge that they shouldn't have, as the blood, instead of being congealed and thickening and drying with age, is somehow kept fresh and flowing. And with Dizzy's suggestion to burn the whole place down, we pick up with total mise en scene.
Have we considered checking their pockets to identify them? If not, that's what Lucio's gonna try and do, to see if he can find some way of identifying who these people were.
I mean, is there a practical reason to identify them? They're dead.
We can at least figure out when they were taken. Establish a pattern.
And I'm sure there is a way to anonymously alert their families so they stop waiting for them to come home. But we have to do whatever we're going to do quick, because now that we've opened this container and we've stepped in here, whoever's attached to the other side of that ward is going to know that their little hideout has been found and invaded, and they will either be on their way here or they're going to send somebody to check. So we don't have long.
Priority should be identifying who it is.
Well, I'll find some newspapers or some magazines, or hey, maybe some oily rags. That always works good.
Well, I believe, isn't there a database for criminals who have tattoos? And he points to one of the larger bodies swinging lightly in its place. Looking at the hands, the calluses, and based on the calluses on the knuckles, I would assume this person is, at the very minimum, criminally minded, but I could be wrong.
That's just it, you're not wrong. They don't seem to care who they're grabbing. Look at that lady over there. She looks like she could be somebody's soccer mom. That's not the same as that guy. But somebody's going to miss them all. They were taken.
Lucio's gonna inspect that body Critias pointed out, though, and he wants to know exactly what he meant by tattoo. Is it just like a regular tattoo, or is it like a prison tattoo?
Several stripe and strata of tattoo. There are several clearly done with a hot needle in a place where most people would never like to end up, and then there's one or two that were done professionally. There's one or two that looks like they were done at home with an impromptu tattoo gun. But yeah, based on knuckles, based on body type, based on the fact that there are still bruises, unlike the other bodies, it's clear this person was involved in something a little more physical.
Because what I was thinking was if there's maybe some way to identify what prison he came from, maybe we could figure out, like, how they got him from that prison. Or at least get an idea of it.
Okay. Well,
Hestia is going to help as quick as possible. Instead of like digging through pockets or anything, though, she's going to do the best she can to line up face shots and snap pictures of everybody that she comes across, so that their faces can be put into like a missing persons database or whatever. She knows she's probably going to have to call into a favor for that, but at the time, it's just get it done. So she's snapping like everybody she comes across. She's getting their face and snapping it.
Hey, did I mention a bunch of D-holes tried to kidnap me a couple weeks ago?
Was that the night with the werewolves?
I mean, I can't necessarily verify that there were werewolves.
I know.
Translation. It
What I saw.
was the night with the werewolves.
It was the night with the werewolves.
Dalton is not tourist friendly.
I didn't think so, but you know what? I get what you're getting with that.
if I may interject, you all are hounds, correct? Why were you in Dalton? It's an independent domain.
I was doing a thing. Like an independent thing.
I see. So a whim.
Sorta, yeah. It didn't work out well. Though it worked out less well for others.
I suppose it should have. Considering that the Lupines have a pact of non-interference with the city as a whole. Unfortunately, those outlying burbs, those outlying domains are not privy to our peace. It's the most unsafe place to be.
But I managed to slip away and then right into the waiting hands of, or the willing waiting hands of some Dustborn, who I told them no, they weren't going to take me, and that was enough.
And then you sent Alexa after them, right?
I did, and I drove one of their cars home.
Dustborn. You were saying, Lucio?
I was going to say, did Alexa manage to interrogate any of them before she ended them?
I don't know. You would have to ask her. But I did see some of them just the other night.
Where was that?
Over by the succubus. Or, you know, it was a couple blocks away. But
How many nights ago?
I think it was that night. You know the one.
You said by the succubus, right?
Yeah, like I came right over to, you know, the apartment from there.
That seems most imprudent. And it's very doubtful that Alexa would have bothered to ascertain any information. My personal issues with the thin blood are very well known.
Yeah, what is her deal?
I believe she was a victim of their hospitality.
Oh, they tried to kidnap her too.
I believe they were considerably far more successful and mind you, I do hate to speak ill of the mad, but being as she was far more woman and far madder than most, makes quite a lot of sense that she may have fallen prey to some pretty face and well-formed physique. All the same, as this seems now to be a matter more direct pertaining to your duties as hounds, I believe you have the support you need to see this moment through, Mr. Darcy. Should you need my assistance, you know how to find me. And Critias begins making his.
Yeah, what he said. This is totally a masquerade thing here, I think.
Right. So, there's out of character. Is Melinda in this scene as well?
Yes, she was. So,
Okay. Right, so there's 4 of us here. We can potentially comb the place, find whatever we can that might be worth looking into later, and then get the hell out quickly. Or we can get the hell out quickly right now. I'm more inclined to the former.
I believe that yes, we should perhaps find who's responsible here.
Dizzy's gonna flip out her phone and dial Vivi.
Estia hasn't stopped taking photos. She's trying not to wander too far away from the group, but she's slowly kind of looking around to see, what other people she's missed picture-wise, while listening to Curtius and Lucio's interaction. And she pauses for a second to look back at Lucio and raise an eyebrow. Did we, interrupt something? Come in here? Between y'all two?
Are you implying something?
Oh, I'm more than implying. Y'all seem a little buddy-buddy.
We're acquaintances, yes.
Acquaintances. Really? When we get home, we'll have to have a talk because there's some things I think you're missing.
Is that like when you buy the stripper a drink?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my god.
There's no sex in the champagne room, dude.
Hola, chica.
Oh my god.
Hey, Vivi, is it all quiet out there?
As quiet as it can be, I suppose. It's just a city block. But yes, there's nothing. I don't see any danger. I don't see anyone with guns, no knives, no group of people. Wait a minute. And you can hear the car easing to a stop, the engine of the van idling down. Perhaps I was wrong.
Yeah, we set off a magic alarm.
Is there another way out for you?
I'll start looking for another way out. Are they coming in the front?
No, but this is the second time that I've seen this car circling the block. I'm going to sit here and wait.
I'm going to come out the front to you. We're just going to burn the place down, but they're looking for clues first.
Fire is always a big clue.
There's just way too much to cover here. It's better if it's burn up.
And speaking of way too much to cover, Hesha takes a picture of the furthest brunette in the room where you all are, there is a moment of succinct and acute pressure on the mind, because as the camera flashes, everyone who had spent any moment with Aiden would know the picture that he kept showing of his girl and talking about how she helped him get free of several problems and how he was doing anything to get back to her, make sure that she's okay. And the paleness of this body is considerably more than all of the others here. And it is clear that this body, based on the fact that the tubing is wrapped around a metal chair leg shoved into this person's chest, clearly not human, or at least was not human.
Oh no. Now they've gone too fucking far. It wasn't worse or bad enough as it is. That's one of us. That's Aiden's girlfriend. Which means if they've had her this whole time, they got her from, oh shit, the night at the disco.
The disco? Is that when they got separated?
Yes, he was trying to get back to her the whole time. And then he got taken to that fucking hospital where we found Dizzy and Aiden and freed them, and had been trying to look for her the whole time.
And she's been here this whole time then?
Possibly, unless they move him around to different sites.
So they were there at the disco then?
Yeah. Probably picking off the weak ones that ran out.
Lucia, would you be so kind of go ahead and roll your intelligence plus streetwise?
Let me pull up my character sheet, because it's either that or subterfuge that has black market proficiency. Let me see. It is subterfuge, so it would not apply in this case. Okay. I believe I'm at 1 hunger, is that right?
Yes.
Two.
Having worked as long as he did, as he has for, he knows that even amongst her organization, even amongst her hierarchy, there are occasionally moments where they must purchase outside of their normal network. There are occasions where they sell outside of their normal network in regards to the resources they have. They loan out donors. They loan out suppliers. They sell donors and sell suppliers as well. Which means if Aiden's girlfriend was stolen from the disco, there's a very good chance that whoever stole her from the disco sold her to the individuals.
So we know already that, and Lucia's saying this out loud, we know already that there were several people involved with kidnappings at the disco. Newberry captured a couple people. The Wong Kwai got their hands on at least a few. Knowing what I know about the circulatory system and how they operate, I know that they sometimes lend out or sell their stock, their They're vessels. It's possible that whoever kidnapped these people at the disco sold them to this group.
But then, see, the Wan Kwai wouldn't have come themselves to collect anybody. They tend to not
Exactly.
really particularly leave Chinatown. So whoever
Which
sold-
explains how they would have gotten it then. So that
Exactly.
means someone else kidnapped them and sold them off.
As those words slip from Hestia and Lucio, Dizzy, there's a voice that refuses to leave your mind or be too far from your conscious thoughts. And it's, my, aren't you a lucky one?
Yeah, well, he's dead now.
But your years on the road point to one specific fact. When pulling up stakes, it's best as you get rid of anything that may be incriminating, such as
Did you mute yourself, storyteller?
no, Shatner pause.
Uh, I think I get what he's saying. When you're picking up the move, you don't want to take all the baggage with you, so you either trash it or sell it.
Well, Dizzy already suspected that whatever went down at the disco that night was a lot deeper than it seemed, because just too many things happened at once that are coincidental, so...
So if we're thinking correctly, we're following the crumbs back quickly. Newberry kidnapped a bunch of people, both human and kindred, and experimented on them. And then either sold some of them off originally, or when he was cleaning house, before he did whatever he was about to do that we interrupted, got rid of the rest. And that's what happened here. Because the ones that he was keeping at the hospital, he was keeping alive for the most part. He had laid Aiden like a freaking frog in biology class, but he was still alive. Just need to figure out who he sold to. I don't know how we would find that out, though. I'm sure the information has been probably confiscated with the fact that the Malkavian Primogen is missing, or presumed dead, so I don't know how we get access to that.
We could always go back to his domain, perhaps. See if there's anything that he failed to destroy.
Hestia, would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your wits plus occult? Add your blood sorcery.
I mean, are we so sure that this whole disco thing wasn't just a giant mind fuck? Like, maybe none of us remember what actually happened because it's been taken from us.
As Dizzy mentions that the potentiality that there were other things afoot at the disco. There were more than one iron in the fire, that there were more persons circling in and around the opportunity to have proof that the kindred not only existed but preyed on humans, because the Lilland's present, because the disco itself is a soup kitchen for kindred, providing them with as much blood as they are willing to consume. The disco itself was a landmark in Dalton of places where the greatest of parties were thrown. It was the off-Broadway to nearly every show in Chicago itself. It's nothing else there. It is a approximation of what Gary could be if it wasn't firmly and wholly held down by the focused attention of Chicago. Dalton is no less of a fallen city. It is no less of a city or a village dedicated to the trades. It, however, refuses to settle. It refuses to accept. Everyone believes that they're a millionaire in the making if they just have the right business. Everyone's a millionaire in the making if they just have enough businesses. But as all of those clues, all of those strings, all of those threads circle and play in the mind, Hestia is distracted by the simple fact that on most movies, there's a ticking clock in the bottom corner of the screen, or flashing across the screen that a bomb is going off. The realization that you all have been here for roughly far longer than one should after tripping a tripwire, knowing that there are sharks circling outside, Hestia pauses, takes a look at the runes and spell work on the ceiling. There's a small electric flash from one letter to the next, indiscernible in the dark, but she sees it somehow. A small flicker of nothing, just a trick of the light, until Hestia realizes that a spell in the working, if caught, lets you know who created it, how close they are to completion. And as the spell written in blood on the ceiling of the room begins to slightly flicker, the letters moving as if they are being rewritten, or more accurately, as if they are counting down to some final outcome.
We need to get the fuck out of here. But then, storyteller, I say that so that they realize that it's a problem, but am I able to figure out who the magic belongs to by looking at it?
They are within 2 blocks of this place.
We need to get out, but we need to wait for whoever's controlling that spell, because they're within 2 blocks. They have to be close to do what they're doing. They're rewriting the wards as we're standing here, but that's definitely why we need to get out, because I don't know what they're going to make it do if we stay here.
Okay, find a back door. Vivi says there's something suspicious outside. I'm going to go out the front and draw fire, I guess, or at least get to Vivi.
The way that Lucio came in, is that visible from the streets?
No, you'd have to be either in the alley or circling.
Okay. Lucio's gonna grab one of the containers of blood and then tells Hestia and Melinda, back door, the way that I came in. Let's go.
All right, so Lucio, do me a favor, go ahead and roll plus larceny.
I'm sorry, I missed that first part.
Resolve.
What?
Resolve. Dizzy, go ahead and roll dexterity athletics, and Hestia, same for you. You get a +1 because you're gonna pilot Melinda in absentia.
Is this the sort of thing where being supernaturally fast is going to help?
Oh, yes, it would.
Because I am, in fact, supernaturally fast.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, I also have celerity, so I can move.
I am
Can I add that?
slow as a slug. Oh no. Lucio triggered the trap, didn't he?
Lucio grabs tells everyone to scram to get out, as echoing what Hesha suggested of them leaving quickly. As Lucio grabs the bucket, there is an electric current, almost as if there's a magnet pulling the bucket back into place, and he struggles and strains against it, finally tearing it free. A sloshing of its contents, causing the blood to spill up and out of the open port, which is pulled free of the tubes connecting with the central generator, pumping the blood from those desiccating corpses. As Dizzy goes barreling out of the front door, kicking the board off of its hinges to free herself, and bursts out into the street outside as a 1985 brown Caprice Classic pulls past Vivi's van. The driver focused on the road, the passenger focused on the building, the rear passengers seemingly handing feathers and hair and various other things to the driver. As out the back door, Hestia and Melinda make it out just as the building starts to crumble and fall in on itself, as if the weight of it causes all of its bones, all of its supporting beams and central cantilevers to fall in on themselves. The flying shrapnel and debris subtracting from you all's successes is the superficial damage you all will receive, of course, rounded down as the building implodes on itself. As the building starts to fall, this Caprice Classic steps on the gas and begins shooting away. Vivi, watching the building fall with you all inside, just catches a glimpse of Dizzy's platinum hair emerging from the dust and debris. You all have 2 actions before the Caprice Classic is out of sight. What is it you all would like to do?
How busy is the street?
Mid to late evening, not super busy. There are a few people moving to and fro. Surprise, you hear a few calls. Oh my God, that's abandoned. What the fuck? Oh my God. And nothing too close, and it's clear that no one has cameras out just yet, phones out. No one's even bothered to call or raise their phones in the direction to take pictures just yet. It's happening, as far as they're concerned, all too quickly.
All right, well, too many to run down the car.
Lucio, actually, quick point of clarification. You said the 8 is it 8 superficial or 4 superficial that we took?
It's 8 minus your successes, and that is the damage rounded down, of course, because it's superficial. The building is falling, there's a lot of weight, but unfortunately, blunt damage doesn't quite do as much as it once did to you, to the dead flesh that is your existence.
Okay. So Lucio, he knows he's not fast, but since no one can see him in this back alley, he's going to use Tenebrous Avatar, because at least that way he will not be obstructed by most of the obstacles in the way. And he's going to try and follow after the car.
I see. Very dangerous. I like it.
Shall I roll the 2
Yes.
mouse tracks?
Dizzy is gonna rouse to heal and then sprint naturally, not supernaturally, for Vivi's car.
Taking the driver's seat or passenger seat? Because Vivi's halfway out trying to make her way towards the building. That is not good.
I will yell, "Get in, drive!" as I'm running over there.
Alright, so I get hungrier, and I think, if I remember correctly, I also get a stain for rolling a 10.
Oh, you did roll a 10, didn't you?
Yes.
Misty's got Melinda by the hand, and she is going as fast as she can towards the van because they need to catch that Caprice.
All right. Well, that being the case, let's see. Okay. Ah. All right. So, Dizzy, being as Vivi is your very close and personal ghoul of a ghoul, would you be so kind as to give a 8 die, just exclamation V8 for her driving skill as Hestia Melinda tumble into the van just behind Dizzy, making it to the opposite side and sliding into the passenger seat. Question is, does everyone buckle up as Vivi takes off?
I think Vivi might want to spend a willpower there.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, click that willpower for me. So you guys are falling. So you guys are falling behind, but only because they are driving with the reckless abandon of a Chicagoan with no license and a friend who works for the police, with every intention of breaking every minor and some major traffic laws. They slide around one corner, barrel down a one-way, and cut through an alley. Vivi is on their tail, but she has to do so at, unfortunately, human speed. She is, even gifted though she is with Dizzy's potent vitae, only human. And as you all see them pulling further away, there's darkness that settles over the space, as there's no other way to say it, but there is a shadow, a pall, a dark cloud following the vehicle. Lucia, would you be so kind as to roll your dexterity athletics plus your oblivion for me, please?
Let's have a look here. Four.
There is no way that it should be possible. However, somehow she was able to reach speeds he could only dream of in other situations. He is literally sliding along one shadow to the next as if he has always been the less than guardian angel on their shoulder. There is a startling reality to him being close enough to see into the vehicle or close enough to understand in passing what's happening inside the vehicle. There's no way that someone should be able to do spellcraft of that level and that nature and that skill in such a confined space, but it is clear that they are working some greater magic that says reverberates through you, calling to your beast, even in shadow form with no physicality behind it. There's a wave of hunger buffeting out of the vehicle into the air around them.
It's extremely concerning, but Lucio is going to try and persevere through that onslaught of hunger, and will try and seep into the vehicle to follow along.
That's considerably more. You have one success. You need to beat them by 2 on the next roll to accomplish as such. Same roll. Well, same die pool. Second roll.
I have willpower.
Same for Vivi as well.
What was that, 8 again for her?
Yep.
I take it with the giant black shadow that I can't see the person doing magic.
So I think Vivi gets a raise now.
She was clearly disappointed with herself.
There is skill, there is luck, and then when the two combine, there is things this world or the next that can stand between them, and that's exactly what transpired. Instead of trying to keep up, there's a growl of annoyance from Vivi as she rounds a corner, and instead of staying in lockstep with the vehicle ahead of you all, she cuts over a block, speeds down, and as it's turning that left, as expected, you all come crashing into the vehicle, sending it up onto the sidewalk as Lucio settles into its darkened recesses of the trunk. What is it that you all are doing? They are literally attempting to bail out. There's scattering of bones and blood, shavings of metal. There's the smoking pewter that they were using to burn ash and make smudgings in the car while it was moving. It is literally a traveling mage's workshop. Ash is a bit jealous that they managed to pack such into a old square-bodied Chevy. But as they bail out, it is clear that this is not the first rodeo that they've been in. The driver doesn't bother to try to open the door. He literally elbows his way out of the glass next to him. The passenger kicks their way out of the front of the car. The two in the back, one comes barreling out of the back windshield. The other tries to open the door, sliding out behind the driver. You all, what are you doing? Because they have every intentions of fleeing to exiting stage left even.
Of Ariman. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, I'm gonna look at the spellcaster. I want to know if I recognize them at all. I'm gonna peg them so I know who it is, and I don't know, tackle them. I don't know.
Okay, so Hesha leaves from the van, aiming to tackle the clear spell weaver of the group. Dizzy, what were you doing?
Dizzy's gonna jump out and try to stop people from fleeing, using one dude as a weapon against another if I have to.
Okay, so Dizzy goes into Dizzy Smash mode. Very nice, very nice. She pretends that the passengers are Loki, and her name is Dr. David Bruce Banner. And Lucio becomes the stuff of nightmarish, inky blackness, tentacle arms ripping free of the trunk, tearing it off its hinges and aiming at the passengers. That being the case, everyone go ahead and roll their initial onslaught, their initial attack.
My intention with the arms is mainly to grab and pull them back to prevent them from running. We're going to capture as many of these people as we can.
Had some dice roller lag there. I guess ignore the second one.
Okay, well now. Cass,
Okay, what am I rolling?
your attacking is the strength plus brawl. The violence that you all unleash, realizing how quickly it develops, it moves from you all acting as protectors of the moment to a vicious maelstrom of unchecked power. And the amount of time it takes them to break free from the vehicle and to mount their attempt at escape, you all set on them like a pack of wolves. The nightmare fuel that is Lucio's shadow form wielding tentacles of sheer inky darkness alone is enough to cause most to lose their faith in any semblance of religion. But the ball of fury that is the 4'8" balance of Hestia, she barrels into the wheel maker as if she was fired from a cannon. Shocking though that is, the fact that Dizzy's wayfishly thin frame lifts one of the passengers and beats the other is another matter entirely. It is whole-scale slaughter. You are far faster and more skillful than anything they can manage in the moment. Is anyone's average, or is anyone's strength below 2? If so, they have an opportunity to escape. If anyone's strength is not below 2, there is no competition.
Mine is right at 2.
Mine is 3.
Dizzy's is 1, but I did activate potence.
And how many dots in potence do you have?
3.
So effectively your strength is 4. There is being outmatched, and then there's simply, why did you bother to be born into this moment? And that's where your all too human thin bloods are. They shouldn't have attempted, they shouldn't have done what they've done. The wrong that they visited upon the world has come due in this moment. Standing face to face with 4 angry kindred and a former special operations tactical officer is enough to have some of them actually bother to shit their pants. The others are gibbering, trying to explain why they need to get away, that things will be worse for everyone. They're being tracked. You gotta let us go. It's gonna get so much. There's no secret that they are not divulging. They are prattling. Oh my God, they're gonna kill us. Just let it go. We're just doing what we're told. We're just following the steps. I don't know what to.
Dizzy will throw up all. And then we'll say, I want fucking answers now, or I'm calling Alexa.
You don't get it. We're fucking dead anyway. Just let us go. We'll tell you everything. Look. Okay, so we're just shut up. I don't know.
There's dead, and there's what Alexa does to you.
And as they're talking, as they're gibbering, as they're jabbering, as they're looking dead at you. You watch as starts with a drip. Looks like a tear. Looks like a vampiric tear, actually. It's a little darker, and it's clearly more actual blood than vitae, but it begins trailing down their cheeks. It's when it doesn't stop. Is when more of it begins to leak from their mouths and their ears that becomes a problem. As they're gibbering, oh my god, you gotta go. You just you do more. And one after the other, you can tell the strength of their death, how much of a kindred they actually are, by how quickly they begin to sanguinate. Those who have vitae that smells more saccharine, more sweet, begin to fall to pieces faster. The others, moments behind. And by moments, it's, oh my God, no, let me. And silent, they are puddles in your hands or beneath your grip as the shadows come away, slick and slimy.
Lucio would like, if possible, before one of them dies, to like demand at least one name from them. Like, give me a name before they die.
Oh God, the nun! And then death. Dead. Deader than dead for the second time in their existence.
What the fuck was that?
Is this magic like the magic that was in the place we just left, or is this something else?
Oh, this is definitely something else. This is something that has personally. This is a time bomb, and Hestia knows that time spells would have happened no matter what. So their deaths were assured hours ago. Their deaths were already planned. So whatever they were set out to do or sent to do, whatever they sought to complete, once it was completed, their death sentence was already passed. Someone set them up as expendable resources. And depending on Hestia's knowledge of the pyramid structure, the chantry structure, she may have a clue as to whom, based on the name. They cried out in pain, begging as if they were begging the god that cared not one whit for their continued existence. Anand.
Too much magic shit for one night. Someone should probably report this van stolen.
Yeah. Is it the shelter van? Or one we found?
It is.
It is.
Oh, fuck. Of course. Of course it is. You know what? Fine. We'll report it stolen. Vivi, wipe your fingerprints. I'll report it stolen later when we get away from it. But I know Anon. I've heard that name, and I gotta check on something, but we'll get the person that's responsible for this, I'm pretty sure. But there was no way to stop that. They were dead as soon as they got in the car. This was they were set up. They were a pawn. They were cannon fodder. The real person behind this wasn't gonna come check on that shit. They knew something was up and sent these motherfuckers.
All right, well, we need to attend to the van, and we need to, the building falling in on itself still leaves a shit ton of evidence, doesn't it?
I think the point of that was to get rid of all the evidence. But there's...
I thought the point of that was to get rid of all of us.
And the evidence. I mean, we could go back if you want, but I don't know how much we can do about a collapsed building.
Yeah, with that much weight falling on those bodies, anyone that wasn't already dead is now dead, and anything that was dead got pulverized. So it's gonna be
But
hamburger meat and mess.
but then everything that was dead doesn't have any juice in it, and they have milking machines.
You propose we go back, clear the rubble, and get those machines before someone finds them?
Unless we've got somebody that can handle covering up whatever investigation, changing people's minds about what they saw. I mean, it's kind of, like I said, it's a masquerade thing.
Actually, now that you mention it, wouldn't they have to come clean up? Or maybe we could lie in wait for whoever comes to clean their shit up, trying to cover it up and catch them that way. But again, that's pretty close to maybe getting caught by the authorities. So we'd have to decide. But I mean, you have a point. Somebody's gonna have to come clean it up.
Vivi, what do you think about the van? Do we leave it here? Or do we move it somewhere else like a joyride?
This is bad. You all are all right. There's no who is not connected with the city should be able to make this disappear. It's a building. At the very minimum, it would come down to the person responsible for securing it. Do you know who the security company was?
They were the ones who boarded it up.
Nash.
Do you think he's involved in this, or do you think he's being set up?
I think he might be being set up. He seems a little stupid to be this involved or magic capable. That was a lot of power.
That night when he took us to that soiree where things went horribly wrong, Melinda had tracked him by his phone. Apparently it was connected to Eddie's in some fashion. Maybe he's not being set up.
Seems like we need to talk to this Nash sooner rather than later.
And this Anand as well.
Speaking of which, Hestia looks towards Melinda. You seemed a little strange that night after coming around the corner with him. Something happened? Did you, like...
Yes, there was a girl bleeding out by the back door.
Did they look familiar?
It was dark. I didn't pay too much attention.
And you didn't try to bring her to get her help? We could have probably tried to heal her. Or bring her somewhere where they could find her.
Well, yes, but the authorities were there and some fight was breaking out and Lucy attacked by the women.
Uh-huh. So what did Nash say to that? Like, did he not want to help the girl either?
I think that we were both focused on getting outside to...
That doesn't sit right with me. Hestia looks at Lucio. That doesn't sit right with me. Because the whole point is not to break the masquerade. So if the girl was bleeding out and they were just inside the building, that calls too much attention. What if the person had puncture wounds in their arteries or whatever, and the reason they were bleeding out is because one of us?
Well, don't Wouldn't that be handled by the... Oh, you all are the hound. Sorry. I was just...
Exactly.
Well, there is, how do you say, very good chance that there were maybe more of us present than we believed.
That still leads to the fact that somebody is walking around leaving bodies.
Yes, this is not very good at all. I understand that, but finding who was leaving the bodies is and and as Melinda tries to cycle through and put one and one together in her head, you all are all on a similar page because Hestia's very pointed questions. There is something that Lucio has been working on his back burner nearly the entirety of his time of being dead. It was a slew of missing persons, and most recently the case taken on and the files granted him because of the most recent incident that stands out.
Honor Mercer. Was that the girl?
It was not the girl, but it was one of the files. In the files you received, a person who was found at the metro, too far gone, having lost too much blood, much like all of the other bodies found throughout the city and the outlying areas in the last few months and last few years.
As an aside, while they're picking their brains there, is there a fire plug or something I could open to spray the blood off the sidewalk that was these dudes?
Yeah, it's a fairly well-traveled area. Lots of family. Instead of just being once every half a block, there's one at the end, there's one. So, yeah.
I just want to clean up the mess so we could get away from the wreck.
About how far are we away from the Haven?
About a 20-minute bus ride.
Well, I guess let's walk and talk and get away from this so that I can report it stolen. We might want to get back to the Haven so we can think about what we really want to do about the whole building thing, and I need to think more about where I've seen Anon before, how to get access to them. I might need to reach out to Decibel. No, Dubiard. Oh my god, there's too many of them.
I think I might need to revisit some notes from the Honor Mercer case.
Do you want me to call an Uber?
Yeah, let's go over a couple blocks though, because you don't want to be here.
Right.
Well, no, of course not.
I guess that's what we're doing. We go over a couple blocks, call an Uber, and get headed back towards the Haven so we can make some decisions.
Oh, there are tons of decisions to make, and as everyone the Uber XL and slides along the streets, the neons of the bars and restaurants, highlighting the frenetic racing thoughts of everyone inside, we take a quick 10-minute here and be back at 55 after the hour. Why, hi, folks.
Hello.
Greetings and salutations.
What up?
Oh, wow. My volume just jumped. Pass, we got you back yet?
Yep.
All right. So as everyone arrived at the Haven, and Trundle's inside, you guys head to your impromptu kind of meeting area of the morgue, or do you head to your meeting room to speak? Or do you stay in the shelter itself?
How much privacy do we feel like we're gonna need for this?
Well, you're discussing kindred business.
Shall we head to the office?
Yeah.
All right, so you're heading into the shelter's office, or are you heading to the actual Haven through the shelter, through the office?
I think Lucio means the morgue.
Okay. So, as you all enter the shelter, every intention of heading down into the morgue, you all realize that there's nothing actually physically in flames. There has been some business, some scuttlebutt having happened in the intervening hour or so that you all have been gone. Sebastian is not at the front desk, and as you all make your way toward the office, you can hear a few murmurs of this and that. Nothing loud enough to actually catch wind of, but the fact that so many people are coupled up or off to themselves and murmuring themselves, there's something that has transpired. There's an electricity to the air.
Why don't you guys go on ahead? I need to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Understood.
Keen.
So as everyone else heads down into the Haven proper, into the morgue, the place where you all have done more business than would ever find palatable amongst the space for the dead, the dying, the staked, and every step in between, Hestia pauses, ear hustles, and interjects and intercedes in a few conversations. What it amounts to is that in the hours since you've all been gone, members of a nearby shelter stopped by with a care package, and several attempts were made, backed by city ordinance, because of the less than pleasant appearance of the boarded up and otherwise unused space of the shelter itself. That through eminent domain and the idea of a project to use the building connected to the shelter, i.e. the hospital and the Haven itself, that there is a petition being drawn up for the neighborhood to make use of the public eyesore in the manner that most benefit the area. Finding Donnell and Amalia in the kitchen with Sebastian as they're reading over notice out. And while nothing is gone through, there is a push to claim the property upon which the Haven stands.
In her head, It's, oh, you sneaky bastards. But she doesn't, alter in front of her employees. Just kind of peeking in the corner. Or peeking into the kitchen. So, I heard some stuff. Let me see that paper.
Yeah, sure thing. There's nothing at this point, but this is usually what they do to try to drive shelters out of the area. This is the third time this has happened to me. First time with the Harris virus, but usually if there is a significantly provable potential for the property to be used for the betterment of the community, that's what they'll do instead of having a shelter. So, depends on how many police reports we have out, how many citations have we been hit with, and realistically, statistically, it's a done deal. Nobody likes shelters near where they have their kids, or where they have schools, or where they have family. They try to drive us out to the poor areas.
Yeah, I get it. Since you said it's not a done deal yet, I'll talk to the lawyer that helps us with this place and see what we can do to put a stop to this. And maybe even, I don't know, expand. You could always use more room. More people.
Yeah. But wouldn't it be better for us to make plans as contested? Like, this is some gentrification bullshit all over again.
They can gentrify their ass back the fuck out of here, because then they're not getting my shelter. Or the building it's attached to. That's all there is to it.
Well, if you say we should fight, we'll fight.
I'm gonna fight. I've been fighting. They're not gonna chase me out of here. You know how it is around Chicago. You know how it is. But can you beat my ass, though? And that's how we're gonna handle it.
Okay. You said that's what it is. That's what it is. We'll do it. And as you make your way down into the shelter where the other... While Hesha is upstairs talking to the staff and denizens of the shelter, is there anything that Lucy is discussing?
Dizzy just hops up on a table and pops her gum and looks at her phone, mostly.
So, how are things going with Vivi?
What do you mean, how are things going with Vivi? I'm doing very, 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 very good considering everything else. It's not like I have a minor...
I'm trying to make small talk, that's all.
My question for you. I understand that you are the intelligence officer, these friends, but why the shadowy tentacle porn monster?
Yeah, it's creepy, right?
And can Arsenio do the same thing?
Answer
She's kind of
question.
sweet on Arsenio.
He's like a brother. A very distant brother.
Wait, I thought it was Hestia and Arsenio were a thing, but Oh god, is he trying to play both of you, or whatever? To answer your first question, it's because I am La Sombra, and that's kind of what we do. To answer your second question, I don't know, actually. I haven't seen him use any of my abilities.
So he's just strong like me. Okay. That's good to know.
He
And no.
might be, but I've never seen him do anything in particular.
And no, I'm not sweet on Arsenio, and that's right when Hestia walked. We are, like I said, like distant brothers. You all are dead. We're only kind of almost not quite dead. So it's not something easy. Like, you all could talk to each other, but there's no one else to really understand us, except for the... And she stops talking as Hestia walks in.
Brow raised. Bruh, it's all up in her hairline. Her brow is in her hairline right now. Oh, did I interrupt something?
No, we were asking about Lucio's tentacle and whether Arsenio could do the same thing.
I think she's curious.
That's some creepy hentai shit, Viv.
Yeah, no. Ghouls get strength and experience faster healing, but for the most part, they don't get the clan gifts that they're attached to until or if they become dead and turned to one of us, because then, you know, the blood is completely switched and they get access to the power. And then not every vampire of the same clan can do the same things. Like, Melinda is good at finding things. I'm good with wards and ley lines magic. Also a little bit of blood sorcery, pretty good at that. Juiceable has his own specialties. That chick Anon, that I just remembered where the fuck I heard that name from. And they just got transferred to Gary. And I'm going to have to reach out to Juiceable. But yeah, their shit's different. All the Tremere can do different things. Some of us overlap, but for the most part, we do different shit. It's the same with all the other clans.
I don't know. I heard some of them really old ghouls can do a whole bunch of shit. I mean, like, not at the level that really old vampires can, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the more you get ghoul, the more used to the blood is in your system. It might increase the abilities, but ghouls either typically don't live that long, or they get turned before too long. So, you know. Or they get released. That happens sometimes too, sort of. Well, but anyway, we got some stuff going on upstairs that might affect a lot of things. And I put the paper down on the table next to Dizzy. Guess who's trying to buy the hospital that's attached to the fucking shelter and get us pushed out of this neighborhood?
Or was that a rhetorical question?
I look at Lucio. Your favorite blonde.
Oh.
You know, I've brought it up before because I guess just because I'm the new kid or one of the new kids that I just don't get it. If everybody wants this place so bad, I don't understand why you don't just sell it all to the highest builder or wash your hands of it.
Remember when I said just now that I am really good with ley lines. This place is sitting on a major ley line. And if it falls into the wrong hands, that could wreak havoc throughout other places in the world where there are nexuses. Because it's like a spider web. You know how a fly flies into a spider web and shakes the whole fucking thing? That could happen if I let somebody who has nefarious leanings get their hands on this place. This one place could fuck up all the other ones.
Well, it's kind of inevitable with all the forces mounted against us to take this place that they're going to get it eventually.
Why? You guys are immortal. Unless, of course, you're killed, right?
I mean, one daytime raid, poof, we're all ashes.
But if they could do that, wouldn't they have done it already?
Would they have, though? I mean, degrees. If you've got a hammer, but all you need is a screwdriver, do you just go right to the hammer?
Most people, yes. It's the reason why the gun.
The Don needs us to give it up willingly. He can't take it. Or he needs us all to die first.
Well, that's
But
one
still,
of what,
one.
50 factions that are trying to get this place?
Yes is the newest. The Shadow Kings, I think, might have wanted it at one point. But again, I haven't heard from them recently, and they don't seem to be particularly active right now. So mostly it's the other two, Theist and frickin' the Dawn.
Oh, if Theus wanted it, they would try it. Ooh. And she just gets quiet and goes onto her phone.
You mean they would do the things they've already been doing?
Yeah. This whole gentrification thing. They're going through the police and the community to try and do it all legal and nice-like.
I'm just saying that if you're holding a dog turd and it bursts into flames and is like melting your arm, it doesn't matter how much you like the dog, you put that shit down.
Well, in this case, it's a diamond buried in a dog turd on fire.
But are we digging the diamond out, or are we just holding flaming dog shit?
I couldn't bother to tell you. I mean, or couldn't, not bother, but I couldn't honestly tell you because I've been doing it for so long. I don't know any other way. I mean, I know it would just be easier to cut and run. And I know that's something you're pretty well versed in knowing when to do, but again, I told the crew upstairs, can you beat my ass though? Because that's the way we're gonna play it.
Well, I think the answer eventually is going to be yes. Yes, they can beat your ass, though.
Oh, now that day comes, I'll deal with it then, but for now, I'm swinging on anybody that gets too close.
Perhaps you should swing harder or find a bigger bat. And Vivi slides her phone onto the small table between you. There's nothing that made any sense earlier, but Hestia's mention of ley line places, she still doesn't quite know what that supposedly is, because it makes no sense. It's that mumbo jumbo voodoo. But in light of seeing what she's seen, in light of experiencing what she's experienced most recently, it makes considerably more sense. It's a rough map of various places. Just little railroad-like tracks connecting one place to the next. Except for there are no train stations there. Nothing there except for building. And it's lines. That's literally the title of the map. It's one of the few things that she stole when she was employed. She couldn't quite fathom, but if you zoom in, which she's already carefully done while you all were talking, one of the lines runs through where this place is, and she was viewing it as non-essential information to justify why they had certain traffic watch locations set up, and it still didn't quite make much sense because they were kind of out of the way. Most of the places are like the Haven, just off the main strip of a place, just to the side, not near enough to transportation or anything like that, so it doesn't quite map to a line of anything. Yet, the shelter, Oasis, the library in Hyde Park. There are several places in the south suburbs marked with lines running through them connecting to each other. And there are little numbers next to them, descending from 100.
Do I know what the numbers mean, or is that a theist thing?
That's clearly a theist thing, but standard, just symbol looking at it's probably some scale of threat or usefulness. One or the two, or maybe both at once.
What's the listing for the Haven?
67.
What do the numbers mean, Vivi?
I could not figure it out. I thought that was attached because we did have unit numbers, but this it didn't make sense. But if you're saying that this is a place of power, then that means that all of those other places are places of power too.
So what if we got rid of Blakeney and just let Theist have it?
I'm sure they would be happy to. They have several outreach programs and indoctrinate those who have lost hope in almost everything else. Provide old soldiers with a way to use their skills.
I mean, to be fair, we are monsters. It sucks for us, but they wouldn't do anything nefarious to the world with it.
They're freaking zealots. Of course they're gonna do shit nefarious to it. Do you not remember the Dark
to
Ages?
us,
the Salem witch trials, the Inquisition, anything that people have done in the name of freaking religion?
you realize we're the monsters, right? I mean, I don't want to be hunted or staked or killed or any of that shit either, but we are the bad guys.
Lucio? What did you do with your life while you were alive?
I devoted as much as I could of it to solving the crimes that couldn't officially be solved. Helping people find those they've lost.
Want to know what I did during my life? I
Yes.
spread and cultivated new plant species in an attempt to save and solve diseases and find new compounds that could help extend people's life and make it better and things like that. My wheelhouse in research. So, I get what you're saying, Dizzy, and I get that's all changed now that we're dead. But if we were such people before, we tried to make the world better before, how have we fallen so far now that we should be hunted and killed? Or that we should let zealots just run wild and say that it's fine because we're the assholes, we're the bad guys. What have they done with their life other than attempt to kill us?
I mean, it doesn't change the fact that we're the bad guys. How many of us are truly bad guys? Hell, I beat someone to death the other day for speaking out at me. That's the thing that's in us. That's what we do.
But how long would before Diaz becomes the bad guy? How long before their way or no way of continued existence cuts off all hope? How long before their indoctrination of those who are weak-minded to live for causes them to perpetuate the same violence that you have without provocation, without reason, except that you are different. You are already dead, so does it matter how cruel something is in their attempt to end your existence? You saved your brother's life. Could you have done that if you were alive?
Perhaps if I was alive, he wouldn't have needed saving.
You've given me a reason to continue. If we're alive, you would not.
Your brother is working for one of the most prolific and richest kindred in Chicago. That man has his fingers on everything and is fairly dangerous. And obviously your brother's been working for him for a while. So it has nothing to do with you. It might have exacerbated some things that you are back in town and things are going on. But he was working for him before you got back here. So that has nothing to do with you.
But not before I was dead, so maybe it does. How deep does it run? How far does the plot go? Where does it start?
Why don't we find out?
Cynthia looks towards Vivi. How do you deal with her? Because I don't understand. She does this a lot, huh?
Pancakes and beer.
Pancakes and beer. Okay. We're wasting time.
I mean, you act like it's a bad thing to take stock of the effect you have on the world and those around you.
I do that. I do that every day when I see the people upstairs have something to eat because I have kept this place open. Or a place to sleep that's not outside on the cold cement because I have done my best to keep this place open. So yes, I do very much pay attention to the effect I have on the world around me. Now, the other shit I've done, can't make a cake without breaking a few eggs.
I suppose, but one of these factions decides tonight's the night, how much of them upstairs become the collateral damage. Didn't you have a giant incident before you even met me up there?
Oh, the Dustborn, yeah. But we handled it as a group. And they didn't make it to the front door. Towards Lucio again. Didn't your father say he wanted to talk to you?
He did. And I'm thinking maybe...
That something to do with this?
Undoubtedly.
Or if you mention that Blakeney's trying to take it from under his nose, it might get him involved and get us some help.
He might already
know. A
know.
distraction.
You don't know if his little caveat of he has to have us give it to him applies to Blakeney. If Blakeney takes it, he might be able to just take it to Blakeney if he's freed from that shackle. That seems an easier route to take at this point.
So
more dangerous, though.
Yeah.
Blakeney is...
Yes.
Blakeney is arguably much more dangerous than us.
Yeah, but he seems like the type of guy who's willing to throw hundreds of thousands of foot soldiers in the way to get his job done.
I think I have another solution.
I just throwing it out there. I'll shut up and look at Tinder here.
You don't have to. We're listening, and I understand where you're coming from. I really do. I promise I do. I can't. It's important to me. It's like breathing was at one point. I cannot give this place up. If they have to kill me first, that's what's going to happen. But I am not giving this place up. Now, what I was about to mention is I think, seeing as how one of the Chantry houses burned down and the other one exploded and all the things escaped, maybe I could get Crucible to buy the building attached to the Haven if I offered to let him have access to the Nexus.
Was an idea we had originally.
Yeah.
Do you trust him being that close, considering all the implications of the blood farm and all that stuff we tripped across tonight?
Well, before I offer it, I'm gonna find out whether he knows about that or not, because if he knew about it, then no. But if he doesn't know about it, I'm pretty sure he'd want to do something about it, and then he's our ally. Looking at Vivi, that might just be the bigger bat we need.
I've seen you all do far more than anybody should be witness to. Together, you're a pretty big fist and a pretty big threat to most things. But if you all don't have a plan you're willing to follow, there's a good chance that someone will slide between you all. Get you all working counterproductively, even if it just means pausing what you're going to do. And forgive me for speaking out of turn, but since he has a point, you all are not necessarily good guys. You're not the heroes, but you can affect some good by being the villains you really are, embracing your violence and directing it at the right people. You all took out a 4-person team bent on your destruction in a matter of moments, seconds, eye blinks. Pick a target, destroy them, and make an example. It's what we do. It's what the United States military does. We pick a warlord. We let them bolster themselves so they seem untouchable. And then we move in and we make an example out of shattering them from within or bombing them back to the Stone Age. It makes the others question what we can bring to bear, how destructive we might be if we set our sights on them specifically.
Fair enough. So, if you were planning this attack, which target would you pick?
Who's the strongest?
Blakeney
Take
has more people behind them.
Well, take the strongest and the second strongest and pick a fight between them both. Make them have to work together to challenge you. And right when they begin to start working together, you make sure they know the other one is out to take them out, causing them to know each other's strengths and weaknesses and attack each other, decimating their own forces. And then you sweep it up the dregs.
Funny, I'd asked Critias a similar question earlier tonight, and he gave a similar answer.
Most of the
Side. Become invaluable to them, help them, and then, when they become dependent on you, you turn and crush them completely and utterly.
Some strategies don't fall out of style. Some strategies hold true, whether you're using swords or you're using F-35s.
Well, in that case, we don't really have any in for Blakeney, but we have an in with the Don.
My thoughts exactly. I think I might have to meet with him soon.
I actually need something from him eventually. So, well, sooner the better, but
Really now? What might that be?
he made a comment about the DA and his wife. Someone I know is very interested in that information.
Excuse me, I need a cigarette. BB begins to head back upstairs to a place to smoke.
glances at Lucio real quick, but doesn't say anything.
I know that look. What are you thinking?
Remember that night at the beach with Clyde?
I'm sure when I'm not around, you go to the beach. When I'm around, we just fight people in alleys and find basements full of dead bodies.
Oh no, I remember this. Trust me, the same thing happened.
Yeah.
That was the night we had to hide
Yeah.
several bodies, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you bring it up?
He walks very closely past him so that only he could hear her. Who do you think was part of the bodies we burned? I still have their wallet and the ring that he was proposing to her with. It's a problem.
That who was?
The DA and his new fiance. That's who Clyde.
So you have the answer. Clyde killed them?
Yeah. We couldn't do anything about it. When we got there, they were already dead.
So it has nothing to do with the Dawn.
Oh, he probably knows about it. He had been watching us for I don't know how long. So he probably knew that we covered it up.
Fuck, that complicates a lot of things.
Yeah.
I have to tell her.
It's gonna break her.
It's already broken her.
You want me to get things?
But if she is broken, why break her more?
Exactly.
She needs the closure. I don't know that we can tell her the truth. I mean, Clyde's not around anymore. That's one thing, but it's kind of further evidence of what I just said is true about us not being the good guys.
So why did you say that the Don had the information? Because he mentioned it to you? Or mentioned
He did.
it in passing?
He did mention it when he was monologuing about how awesome he was that night before we walked out on him.
So I'm guessing she thinks he knows, and there's a target on his back.
She thinks he knows because I thought he knew.
Again, he probably does know something, but not the right something. And you know he likes to stir the pot. So obviously, he knows enough to say something that gets you thinking what you were thinking.
Yeah, but I didn't even know at the time, I don't think.
I didn't know that whole thing was going on. I didn't know that was who that was until they were already back here, and I was putting them to rest.
I mean, you
Yeah.
didn't know her then, so I mean, it's
No.
it's a thing that happened. It's stock and trade for us. It's just there's damage, and we have to actually stare it in the face now.
So are we tell her after?
I don't know what I'm going to tell her. I don't know how you tell somebody that, but she needs the closure. She needs to know what happened. And I definitely need to take the hand grenade out of the Dawn's front yard. So,
I mean,
on the bright side, she probably has a shit ton of actionable intel on him.
How did she get this intel? Perhaps we should speak with her sources.
oh,
She is her source.
I just realized how the Don probably knew. He's a fucking necromancer. He brought Blue back to fucking harass us. He probably found out.
By asking the ghost.
Yeah.
So he speaks with the dead. Couldn't he help your cases, Lucio?
He could. Talking to the dead would be such a wonderfully useful ability for all of my cases if I could.
But you said that he's your bad guy. So how are you going to make a peace treaty?
Well, it seems he's already extending the olive branch. He's called me to meet with him, and it seems to be aligning exactly with Blakeney coming back into power. I have a feeling he wants to arrange a temporary alliance while we deal with a greater threat. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, as they say.
Well, technically, Blakeney is coming back into power because we killed Newberry. So, yeah.
Among multiple other factors.
Wait.
Mostly Newberry.
Wait.
That guy I shot was Newberry.
Malkavian Primogen. And
Oh, wow.
he was putting a whammy on Blakeney, keeping her Cooper Cocoa Puffs and not at full power. And then once he was dead, surprise!
I'm probably in a lot of trouble then, huh?
If they find out.
I don't know how many kindred you've known, but someone knows. I don't know how or why. I'm just sure that someone knows.
The Don probably knows. Again, because he was part of the cleanup crew. Or sent the cleanup crew. That's who that was. Cleaning up the building after we ran out. Being chased by the weird monster things.
I don't think he knew. He might know now, but I don't think he did know, because when I spit in his face and we walked out, I think he would have played that card then.
Yeah, true.
He might have that card now, but I don't think he did then.
Still kind of slowly turns and looks at Melinda. Oh, hi. Yeah. You heard that, huh?
This is quite a lot of things you all have on your plates.
Things are weird in Chicago. They really, really are.
I'm a horrible murderer, and I have a temper problem, I guess.
Maybe we should take Dizzy's idea and disappear for a while.
We could be in Minneapolis by the morning.
Isn't that a bad thing?
Grab one
Minneapolis?
around? Oh yeah,
Being
Minneapolis does
somewhere
kind of suck.
I meant more being anywhere by morning. Morning for us is a very bad thing. If it takes that long to get there, we're kind of fucked.
I mean, not really. There's a hotel every 20 feet.
That's not the point.
Is it really the biggest mall in America?
I mean, when I was there, it was closed. I don't know.
So as everyone considers target of opportunities, how to proceed, the truth of the matter is that there are, much like what Theus has planned, an escalating or descending order of threats to the coterie. Deciding what's the most viable threat, the largest problem, is one that weighs on everyone's mind. There's the overarching threat of the Hakata contingent led by the Castiglione and Tories, which the coterie has run against and up against time and again since the very founding of its present state of existence. From the very first moment when Hestia noticed the missing members of the coterie's family, the disappeared, from Lucio's waking up dead in a processing center, a house of ill-gotten blood, to Dizzy's discovery of an all-you-can-eat buffet at the end of the disco, to Blakeney's insanity. The Castiglione and Tories have had their fingers throughout the Midwest, stretching as far east as West Virginia and as far south as New Orleans this entire time. Their most vaunted enemy, of course, being Laura Blakeney and her attempts to set up several different networks to compete in the blood trade. The Castiglione and Tories' relationship with the Blood Czar, a business relationship, but a relationship that has brought both of them their limitless funds. Sylvia Rain, the rogue and rebellious Tremere who empowered the Children of the Dusk, an army of Dustborn who have been keeping watch and keeping tabs for the highest bidder against most, if not all, of the kindred in the city. And as much as it pains each of you all to contemplate, especially Lucio and Hestia, the fact that in their midst, not once but twice, have been two killers with seemingly no goal in mind except for chaos. Clyde in protection of his family, and Simone in protection of you all, who he's called his family, despite all the many secrets he's from you. So order of operations, threat of the day, can't be the continued operating system. A plan must be put into place, a goal in mind. And with such thoughts percolating in each person's mind, each member's mind. I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode, and I look forward to next week, the season finale of season 10. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you for the session.
Night all, and Dizzy will ask Hestia to give her that stuff so she can break it to Vivi somehow.
Yeah, Hestia will go to the office in the morgue, go into a lockbox, and very carefully and almost reverently give her a smaller box with both the wallet and the ring box with the ring in it, and hand it over.
Wow, this is gonna job. Good night, everybody. Thanks.
Night all.
Good night.